If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. That's what Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Darth Vader during their duel on the Death Star. And it was true. Obi-Wan had been training his entire life for that moment. And whenever Vader's lightsaber made contact with him, his physical form just vanished. He dissipated. He became one with the Force. Becoming one with the Force made him more powerful than Vader could possibly imagine, and he ended up, going on to guide Luke throughout the entire rest of the Galactic Civil War, which um, resulted in the destruction of the Empire, the death of Emperor Palpatine, and the redemption of Vader himself. So, in a way, the destruction of Darth Vader and the return of Anakin Skywalker. And I say that because that is thematically very similar to what happened to Charlie Kirk. He has become more powerful now than he was while he was alive. It's not a good thing, obviously. I'm not happy that he's dead. I was a big fan of Charlie Kirk. But his message resonates now more than it had before. He has been martyred. And it's already having a positive effect on the right-wing movement. There's an energy now in the movement that wasn't there on the 9th. And it's terrible that it had to come to this. But yeah, he has become one with the Force, and he's going to guide the movement, in spirit, moving forward, hopefully to a great many victories in the future. Now, I've not made any secret of it. I'm not a religious man. I am an objectivist, which means I am an atheist. It's not my core. My lack of belief in a higher power is not a core driver of my everyday life. In fact, to be honest, it's something I don't think about very much. But Charlie believed it. The vast majority of Charlie's fans believed it. His wife certainly believes it. And I'm not one of those people who believes in, like, if you believe it, that makes it real. Like, nah, but it's maybe, like, I don't know. The point is that the worst thing that the left could have done, and I don't give a shit what they say, Tyler Robinson, even if he was acting alone or as part of some weird Trantifa, like, assassination plot, whatever comes out of that, he is of the left. And the worst thing the left could have done was kill this man. They don't realize what they've done. I think they're starting to realize it, especially with what we saw at the memorial. We'll see what happens. Like I said, hopefully we get, like, this galvanizes us into real action. We get we start racking up real victories off the energy that we get off of this. But yeah, and it's already starting to show up, like, numerically. Obviously we haven't had any legislative victories come off of this yet. But optical victories, what with the left showing themselves to be the psychotic murder fans that they actually are, as well as, but like I said, numerically, we're starting to see, shout out to that Park Place. Charlie Kirk Memorial viewership shatters records and makes history. Turning Point USA claims 100 million plus views. That is insane if that's true. The Charlie Kirk Memorial in Arizona on Sunday, September 21st, which I didn't go to. Me and Candace Owens have that in common. although she wasn't invited. I could have gone if I wanted to. She wasn't allowed to go. September 21st was, I suppose she could have gone if she bought a ticket like all the other plebs had to do, But although I'd heard that it was actually free. That the tickets, because obviously there is a limited capacity in these places, so the tickets was like first come first serve, I believe. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is, and if that's there's that part of me that, like, understands if they charged for entrance, but there's that part of me that thinks that'd be a little scummy, and I hope they didn't do that. So I kind of hope that the whole it was free to attend. She could have attended if she wanted to, like on the floor. She just wasn't invited to speak. And yeah, fuck that bitch anyway. Anyway, was not only noteworthy for its content and its fervent expressions of Christian faith, defiant in the faces of evil. No, the event was also shocking to much of the world in terms of viewership, both online and on television stations around the world. So, how many people tuned in for Erica Kirk's incredible forgiveness of her husband's killer? How many saw President Trump embrace her in an act of comfort? And just exactly how many eyes were watching as Trump and Elon Musk seemingly set aside their differences going forward? Let's take a look at the numbers as of Sunday, which are sure to grow. Now, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I did not watch the entire thing. Um, so I need to. I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing. I just haven't yet. But yeah, I knew the clips would come out. I was kind of busy while it was going on. And I figured, I could watch it back, that way I could skip parts. Like I could, because the content of what I really want to see is like the speakers anyway. So I could skip the kind of the musical numbers and the kind of pomp and circumstance between all the speakers. So I'm sure I'll get around to it. But sadly, I was not one of these live viewers. Um, Unless they counted the like 2 or 3 seconds that I stopped while scrolling through X and saw that it was streaming and stopped and like watched it for a second. If they're counting that, then technically I am counted among these numbers. Fox News on YouTube had 2.61 million views for its live stream as of Sunday evening. And there's the screen grab. Associated Press on YouTube had 1.15 million views as of Sunday. Yeah, get fucked, Associated Press. You got half of what, you got less than half. Or no, you got about half. You got about half of what Fox News is able to get. Charlie Kirk's X account had 3.3 million views and impressions as of Sunday evening. If anyone saw me, or if anyone counted my what little I did view of the live stream, is probably because I watched. Is probably because of this one, because I do follow Charlie on X. And the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel had 6.62 million views as of Sunday evening. I can't whistle today, so whistle. God damn it! Come on. I can't do it. I'm just gonna stop trying. I'm embarrassing myself. With just these four examples online, even before we discuss television ratings for the Charlie Kirk Memorial, we're looking at 13.23 million views. If we were to add in all the other hundreds of online sources carrying the live event, we would double that number to more than 26 million views. It's hard to say. Tracking all viewership across X, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, etc. is nearly impossible with events such as this. Because there is no copyright for the event, anyone could live stream the memorial, a distinct difference from other major events like the Super Bowl. Still, if just 4 live streams top 13 million views, it's almost impossible to imagine every other stream in the world not combining to get a total viewership of over 20 million. Meanwhile, before we talk about linear television, consider that Arizona officials estimate the live audience in all venues was in excess of 200,000 attendees. For the traditional tube, yeah, they of course they had like other basically spillover sites where like okay, you can't all get into the memorial itself, but you can go here, and there's like another smaller kind of event where we're going to be broadcasting. We got a big screen set up. We're going to be broadcasting. Uh, we'll be broadcasting the memorial event to this place. So yeah, 200,000 people attended. I would have liked to have gone. And in fact, if it had been closer to where I live, I probably would have gone. If it had been within a like hour, I would have driven. I probably would have been willing to drive 4 or 5, 6 hours to go. Like if it was held in DC, it wouldn't have been held in DC, but I would have driven to DC for it to go to it. For the I already read that part. Or I'm sorry, I did not. For the traditional tube. For the traditional tube, we're going to have to wait for Nielsen to give us the stats. And unfortunately, that means it could be 5 weeks or more before we know what those numbers might be. However, we likely can determine a base number using recent viewership as reported by The Hollywood Reporter in regards to how many people tuned in. God damn it, you guys. Editing! In regards to how many people tuned in after Charlie Kirk was murdered. Then we got a quote down here from The Hollywood Reporter. Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN all saw increased ratings Wednesday and Thursday as they offered extensive coverage of Kirk's death by a gunman during a speaking event at Utah Valley University on Wednesday afternoon. Police arrested 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah in connection with the murder late Thursday. In prime time, Wednesday, the three networks collectively averaged 6.89 million viewers, a 65% jump from the 4.17 million who watched a week earlier. Thursday's combined audience of 6.2 million was up 72% from the prior week's 3.6 million. Impressive. Like I said, he's got people, like, people don't realize just how popular Charlie Kirk was. Like, a lot of people, like, have this idea. Like, I've literally seen people say, like, Charlie Kirk really wasn't that popular. That's just not true. He had a lot of detractors. He had a lot of people who disagreed with him, and those people had louder voices. They bitched more. They made more of a stink, which gave the impression that he was less popular than he actually was. The vast, vast, vast majority of the people who liked him were people that barely ever spoke about him, like me, for instance. I think in the history, I've been doing this for this content creation thing, the podcast and stuff. I've been doing it for 5 years now, thereabouts, and I've barely talked about Charlie Kirk. I've mentioned him a few times, but he's barely come up, but I've been watching him the whole time. I think if you could probably go back and hear me say some like, oh shit, I just realized I got Liar's avatar up on the screen. That's funny. Oops. But you could probably go back and see me find some like not so nice things to say. I mean, I never said anything bad about him. I think I said that he wasn't as effective a debater as other people. And I think years ago, like when he got super triggered at that big event where he debated Hassan Piker, and then Jank was in the audience talking shit to him, and he got super triggered and stomped over there, act like him and Jank started screaming at each other. Like that kind of went viral and it didn't go over well with people. Like I remember that, so that's probably where I got that. But as the years went on, he got much, much, much better at debate, and I haven't seen him lose a debate in years. His Jubilee episode was really good. He handled all of those little bastards like pretty handedly. Especially the girl with the dreadlocks, like who's like 18, 16. He's just like further back, 16, 19. Like that moment in particular, like he dog walked her. It was pretty funny. Assuming that even half of those same viewers came back to watch the memorial, we can throw in another 3 million viewers from cable channels alone. The total is likely much higher, especially given that we're talking about averages and the ratings listed above as opposed to totals, and the memorial was more than 5 hours in length. Ultimately, we can estimate safely that the Charlie Kirk Memorial generated 25 to 30 million views before we even begin to estimate worldwide viewers on international channels, and that's the baseline. The real number could be far higher. To give an idea of how important the viewership was for Charlie's memorial, as well as what a shock this is to the legacy media, consider that most network time was dedicated to the NFL broadcast on Sunday. In fact, there was almost no network support, and yet, in spite of this, Charlie Kirk's memorial pulled viewership that appears to have either met or surpassed the viewership of President Ronald Reagan's funeral. That's really impressive. And that was an event in which viewers may have struggled to find any channel covering something else. Yeah, so like if you were watching TV that day, you were kind of forced to watch Reagan's funeral, you know. And this still had more viewers than Reagan's funeral did. It kind like I said, this kind of to give you an idea of just how popular Charlie Kirk was. All that said, TPUSA is claiming a much larger number for viewership. It is one we can't verify, but we also cannot deny. According to TPUSA, more than 100 million viewers may have tuned into live streams of the memorial. If that can be proven in the days ahead, that would place the viewership somewhere near Super Bowl levels of interest. It's not outside the realm of possibility. I'm sure somewhere in the TPUSA office in Arizona, they had people monitoring all the live streams. Everywhere it was being streamed live to, Twitch. I don't know if it was on Kick, but let's say that it was like Twitch, YouTube, all the different YouTube channels, Rumble, X, all the TV channels, and they were able to. Although the TV channels are harder to verify, and I'm sure they kept an eye on all the international people streaming it. And then when they tally all these things together, they were able to come up with something close to that. I would not be shocked. This is Andrew Colvett, who worked for TP USA. He was one of Charlie's right hand guys. Our production and streaming partners tracked over 100 million overall streams for today's tribute to Charlie. This is just what they know about. It's likely much larger. Over 100 million people just heard the gospel proclaimed again and again by speaker after speaker. And if I click on this, it'll just take me to X. So there's just no point. It's yet another reminder that the legacy media has lost its ability to filter what Americans choose to watch. And for those who wish ill to Mr. Kirk, there is perhaps no greater punishment than a memorial overflowing with remarkable faith and love being broadcast all over the world to incredible numbers of people eager to participate in a service like no other. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, like I said, you have made the worst thing, the worst mistake the left could have made was turning this man into a martyr, and they made that mistake. So, like I said, hopefully, again, I'm gonna just reiterate for a third time. Hopefully, we can take this energy. There hasn't been a swell of energy on our side like this since July last year when they tried to kill Trump. They need to take this energy and they really need to run with it. And they could do a lot of good with this energy and Charlie would want them to do it. He would want them to take this energy, this groundswell of positivity and unity in our movement, and really, really run with it and try to rack up some W's. So hopefully we can get that done and maybe make this horrible tragedy mean something beyond just the warm fuzzy feelings inside as we all hold hands and sing kumbaya. So let me know what you think below. Be sure to like and sub, or be sure to like the video and sub to the channel if you're not subbed, and follow the links and sub to all my other channels. Follow me on X. Check out the gaming streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Check out Clown War Chronicles Saturday morning on this channel. And yeah, throw me a bone.